When the conversation turns to the greatest playmakers in NBA history, two names always dominate the discussion: Chris Paul and Steve Nash. Both men have redefined what it means to run a team, orchestrate an offense, and elevate the players around them. But the debate over who was truly superior has divided fans, analysts, and even former players for years. On one side, Chris Paul, known as CP3, is revered for his court vision, defensive tenacity, and unmatched ability to control the flow of a game. On the other, Steve Nash, the two-time MVP, dazzled fans with his silky passing, lightning-fast decision-making, and uncanny knack for threading needles through defenses. Both men left indelible marks on the game, but when the numbers, the moments, and the context are examined, the question becomes more than just stats. It becomes a narrative of clutch performances, leadership under pressure, and the art of playmaking itself. Chris Paul entered the NBA in 2005, drafted 4th overall by the New Orleans Hornets. From the start, he displayed an innate understanding of the game that transcended raw athletic ability. Even as a rookie, Paul averaged 16.1 points, 7.8 assists, and 5.1 rebounds, immediately establishing himself as a floor general. Over a 20-year career that spanned stops with the Hornets, Clippers, Rockets, Thunder, Suns, and Spurs, Paul consistently ranked among the league leaders in assists, steals, and assist-to-turnover ratio. His numbers are staggering. Career averages of 17 points, 9.2 assists, and 2 steals per game, with over 10,300 career assists and nearly 3,000 steals. Beyond the numbers, Paul's ability to read defenses, anticipate movements, and adjust his teammates' positioning in real time is almost unparalleled. He is a player who doesn't just pass the ball, he orchestrates an entire team's offense, making those around him better without ever needing to dominate the spotlight. Steve Nash's journey was different but no less remarkable. Drafted 15th overall in 1996 by the Phoenix Suns, Nash took longer to rise to stardom, but once he did, he transformed the league. Nash's 2 MVP awards in 2005 and 2006 were not merely personal accolades, they were recognition of a player who could redefine an entire team's offensive philosophy. Nash averaged 14.3 points and 8.5 assists over his career, with an astounding career three-point percentage of 42.8%. He led the league in assists 5 times and was known for his mastery of the pick and roll, his precise court vision, and his ability to make split-second decisions that turned ordinary possessions into scoring opportunities. Nash's influence was often invisible to casual viewers, but for teammates, coaches, and analysts, his presence on the floor could completely shift the dynamics of a game. Comparing the two in terms of accolades provides an interesting perspective. Nash earned 2 MVP awards and was an 8-time All-Star, while Paul has 12 All-Star selections but never captured a league MVP. Paul, however, boasts 9 All-NBA First-Team selections and 9 All-Defensive Team nods, showcasing his impact on both ends of the floor. Statistically, Paul has averaged slightly more points and steals per game than Nash, and in head-to-head matchups, he often had the upper hand in scoring and defensive pressure. Nash, meanwhile, had the edge in shooting efficiency, three-point accuracy, and the intangible ability to make his teammates shine in ways that conventional stats sometimes fail to capture. This makes the debate not just about numbers, but about style, context, and how each player defined playmaking for their era. The head-to-head matchups between Chris Paul and Steve Nash were a treat for fans. In 22 games against each other, Paul averaged 22 points, 9.5 assists, and 4.5 rebounds, while Nash averaged 13.3 points, 9.5 assists. These numbers reveal a fascinating dynamic. While Nash matched Paul in distributing the ball, Paul's scoring and defensive intensity gave him a tangible edge in controlling the game's outcome. Watching those matchups unfold, one could see Paul's relentless effort to anticipate Nash's passes, disrupt the Suns' rhythm, and force turnovers, while Nash relied on precision, timing, and patience, threading perfect passes through seemingly impossible windows. These clashes weren't just statistical, they were a battle of basketball intellects, each testing the limits of the other's craft. Beyond raw stats, the styles of their play offer a study in contrast. Chris Paul is methodical, intense, and aggressive. He controls tempo like a conductor with a baton, making micro-edgements to exploit defensive weaknesses. Nash, in contrast, was fluid, creative, and unpredictable. His passes often defied physics, threading through double teams or bouncing perfectly off defenders to reach teammates. Paul's style emphasizes control, pressure, and leadership. Nash's style emphasizes creativity, rhythm, and team synergy. Fans often favor one over the other based on what they value in a point guard: dominance and defense, or creativity and offensive orchestration. The drama extends into playoffs, where the weight of performance becomes even heavier. Chris Paul has been to 15 playoff campaigns, often carrying teams that lacked championship-caliber rosters deep into contention. His leadership in critical moments, ability to execute under pressure, and capacity to manage high-stakes games highlight his adaptability as a playmaker. Nash, meanwhile, often had the luxury of running a near-perfect Suns machine under coach Mike D'Antoni's system, with an emphasis on pace and space and the pick and roll. While Nash sometimes struggled in the postseason against elite defenses, the brilliance of his regular season play, especially in guiding multiple teammates to career highs, remains unmatched. When discussing peak performance, Paul and Nash offer contrasting peaks. Paul's peak can be seen in seasons like 2008-09 and 2017-18, where he combined elite scoring with top-tier playmaking and defensive pressure. Nash's peak, highlighted by his 2005 and 2006 MVP seasons, showcases a player operating at the height of offensive creativity, orchestrating a Suns offense that dazzled the league and changed how point guards were evaluated. Paul's peak is dramatic, intense, and tangible in scoring and defense. Nash's peak is elegant, artistic, and transformational for his team. Both men, however, share one undeniable trait: the ability to elevate everyone around them. Paul's teammates often outperform their career averages when playing alongside him, while Nash's Sun squads thrived under his orchestration, making the impossible passes look routine. Both have inspired generations of point guards, proving that playmaking is as much about intelligence, creativity, and timing as it is about raw skill. In conclusion, the debate over Chris Paul versus Steve Nash as the ultimate playmaker is less about settling a score and more about appreciating two of the greatest orchestrators in basketball history. Chris Paul embodies intensity, control, and leadership, while Steve Nash embodies creativity, precision, and offensive genius. Both have left indelible marks on the game, and both have set standards that future generations of point guards will aspire to reach. Fans will continue to debate, analysts will continue to compare stats, and highlight reels will continue to dazzle, but the truth remains clear. In the world of NBA playmaking, Chris Paul and Steve Nash are both legends whose influence will endure forever. For viewers who want to dive deeper into the magic of elite point guards, see the highlights, breakdowns, and legendary matchups that defined a generation. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to witness more epic basketball debates, legendary clashes, and deep dives into the greatest players of all time. Chris Paul and Steve Nash may never meet on the court again, but their legacies continue to define the art of playmaking.